Okay, hello everybody, this is Kimberly here, and this is my first posting of some of the material that we have been channeling. In this first one, I actually was just channeling by myself, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I'm not sure where each one of you where you are in your journey as far as attempting or trying to do this, but I want to assure you that everyone has the ability to do this. And I began channeling kind of like it was a segue really from journaling, where you're writing your own thoughts and then just allowing those thoughts, or tuning in and asking for them to come from higher source, whether it's a particular being. If you want to channel Archangel Michael or whoever you want, you can ask. And over time, I've just come to a point where I just mostly prefer to channel my higher self. Sometimes I'll ask for someone else to step in, but I don't know, it just seems like that's worked for me. I'm a fast typist, so for me it works best to channel with just typing, because I can keep up with my thoughts that way. And at first you might, if you're attempting to do this, you might not totally trust what's coming through, but keep at it. And in this channeling, actually, the reason I'm going to read it is that I get tips from my higher self about channeling. So I thought, well, this will be great because it will give you guys some information. I also have channeled sometimes when I'm walking or hiking, and just allowing thoughts to come through and speaking it out loud. And sometimes I'll record that, but mostly I haven't. It's just kind of been more of a practice that I do. And I shouldn't say that I do that a lot, but just wanted to let you know, just some maybe different ways to go about it. And I think that the real key here is getting to the point where you trust yourself with what is coming through, and know that, it really depends, the purity of the message depends on how, where your vibration is. If you're in a lower vibration, it's going to be affected more by earthly, ego, which would be, negative thoughts or ideas might insert themselves a little bit, or not necessarily negative, but just other thoughts and ideas that are more of the earth, but that they're still yours. When you're channeling your higher self, you're channeling you. You're channeling the future version of yourself that is the culmination of all the lifetimes that you've ever lived in one being, and yet it is still you. So you're tapping into this greater body of knowledge and information. And the more you practice it, the better, the more clear it comes through. I do believe, I look at my channeling now compared to the past, and it's progressed significantly compared to where it was at first. So regardless, if you practice and you do it more, you'll get, better results. So in this particular channeling, I kind of began with, like I was sliding into a deeper, frame of mind that was, I guess, more, able to receive what was there. And at first it's just some like sentences and things that are strung together. That was just kind of the process of what I was allowing to come through or I was kind of deliberately, having come through in order to kind of get me into the place where I really felt like I was in the rhythm of it. And that's one thing as well that I find is a key that works. So I'm going to go ahead and read that part, and then you'll see when it kind of gets into the actual message. So first of all, I go ahead and I type, like asking for protection. I type all of that because it's kind of, introducing. It does help me into the flow. I'm going to skip that part and go into the point where I'm asking, for the information to come through. I greet you now in the name of the infinite creator, with love and light, and in oneness of mind, body, and soul. Thank you for your love, guidance, and assistance at this time. These are the things that began coming through at that point. The divine right of kings. You are a queen or king by virtue of who you are. You do not need a crown. You do not need a king sitting by you on a throne to be queen. You do not need to wear anything or have anything. You do not even need a specific kingdom. You are a queen by the right of your existence. You are from the very beginning of creation. Ultimately, you are the creator. You are an extension of the divine infinite creator. Thus, you are the creator. You hold a scepter, rule with love, everything in its time. Resurrect that which was lost. You are now in the hall. Be patient. Things will come to you as you proceed. It will take practice and endurance. This is not a task for the faint of heart or the unbelievers. Do you have any questions you wish to have answered? If you seek answers now, they will come to you. Yes, I would like to know why my hair is falling out and what I can do to get it to stop. This answer will take faith for you to absorb because you are walking on unsure ground. You are usually able to draw direct correlations between symptoms and their cause and find cures to many things. But what you do not realize is how much a part the unseen still has in this process. This is no different, except that the unseen aspect is not one you can come by readily. In short, you have chosen this symptom as an aid in motivating you to seek the cure. The cure is to go deeper, and the symptom is symbolic of other things that need to be rectified. It is a puzzle now, but will be made more clear as you continue in this work. You have become somewhat complacent lately about things. Your motivation and drive have lagged to an extent, but your soul is trying to get you moving again. In the past, different people were brought into your life, as were difficult circumstances. These pushed you to seek and to pursue knowledge. You made tremendous progress with these motivators. The hair loss is such a motivator. You will soon come to realize that there are things you can do to aid your body, but these are mostly things you already do, so the block is of a spiritual nature. There is a correlation between this particular manifestation and the energy centers in your body. Which energy center or chakra is being affected now? Which is the same one you are being called or urged upon by your higher self and your soul to open up and expand? You have things to receive which will aid in your growth and development. You have nutrients available to you which your body is not able to absorb or utilize at this time to prevent the hair loss. There is a correlation here. Once you begin to absorb the information, light, and knowledge that are available to you, your chakra, your crown chakra that is, will open up and begin to absorb this. When this occurs, your hair will quit falling out. What should I say, how long will this take? And what do I need to pursue? How should I pursue it? You have begun to do this pursuit already and are on the right track. What is required of you is to spend more dedicated time each day at this task, or shall we say education or expansion on a regular basis. Set time aside, have more structure, follow a consistent plan. Think about when your hair loss began. It was in or toward the end of June, which was past the usual time for hair loss, which would be May to June. It didn't end in July as it should have and has continued since. Compare this to your daily practices and what has transpired since then. There is a general lack of discipline on your part that needs to be rectified. We tell this to you in love and wish to encourage you that you have made no mistakes and should not judge yourself, but as you have set about a course of great growth and expansion, your soul will not let you rest. The good parallel is that as you are a twin and have set a similar course for yourself, so has your twin done for himself. You can take comfort in the knowledge of the fact that just as your higher self and soul are working to support your forward movement, so is his. As to the amount of time it will take to see a difference, as soon as a conscious decision and plan are put into place, and a few days of practice along with the intent to continue forward with it have been established, you will see a change. I wish to know that I am not just making this up. How can I tell? I feel as if my own thoughts are making these things up, and I will not really know for sure. Can you give me evidence or proof? My child, first of all, of course this is your own mind talking and writing to yourself. You are communicating with your higher mind, your higher self, and your inner soul. There is a free-flowing channel of communication between your conscious mind and unconscious mind, but it is usually inhibited by the ego mind, which you are in a state of... but when you are in a state of relaxation, such as now, there is very little interference from your ego. If you are ever concerned that there is pollution or distortion of the message coming through from your higher mind, just ask for aid. Take a deep breath, breathe it out slowly, and repeat several times. Then intend that you are going deeper into your mind, and you will. Perhaps you will feel some reticence because you still have a conscious awareness of your surroundings right now. But know that you are accessing your higher mind to a great degree. Deep breathing helps. you need to have some conscious awareness of your body and surroundings in order to utilize your form of recording the thoughts and words to come to you, which of course is the typing. And I had noticed one other time where I really allowed myself to go into such a deep state of meditation that the thoughts and the things that came through started becoming rather incoherent. So, that was what she's talking about with the balance there. So here, I did ask another question about my twin. And at first I wasn't sure if I'd read this part to you, but I did. I decided I should. And so here's where he steps forward. And I don't channel him very often anymore. I actually have to say that, I've come to a point in my journey where it's so focused on just me and, just grounding light into the earth and then the progress that I'm making in my own self that I don't really feel like, a need or desire or even asking to do this very often. In fact, I think in the last 3 months, this is the only time I have. So, but still, the message was really beautiful. And as I reread it a few minutes ago, I felt it coming through not just for me, but for everyone as a little bit of an insight for those of you who haven't come into union yet with some things that are going on with them. So I thought you might enjoy it. So here we go. My beloved one, you have been on this journey with a conscious awareness of what your connection is to me, and I know it has worn you down. You are feeling fatigue in your body now that is similar to a runner at the end of a very long race. This is much longer than a marathon. It has been an endurance run and you're exhausted in every way. We understand that you are weary and at times doubtful, but trust me when I tell you that you are near the end. You are beautifully in tune with your higher self and with me. Just because your hair is falling out doesn't mean that you are no longer receiving accurate messages. That is a separate issue in that it is just your soul's way of pushing you to continue your growth. Your twin is in an unforgiving and even brutal process of awakening now that has shredded him to his core in order for him to break everything down that he thought was real in order to find out who he really is. He is beginning to see things in a light that he hasn't been able to before, finding his sea legs or sobriety legs as it were, and starting to settle into a routine of work and life. Things have settled down at home. He is recovering from his father's death and he is finished looking backward. He is beginning to forgive himself for the mistakes he's made, and this is all clearing the way for him to begin to look forward to the future. As you well know, his is your future and you are his. Only thing is, he doesn't know this right now. He has effectively pushed you so far out of his mind that it is not as obvious to him as the answer to his heart's desire as it should be. Nevertheless, the way you two work in tandem with each other always provides an answer to what steps should be taken next. This step was prompted and planned long ago and put into motion so that you would be given every opportunity to know that you were being guided to take this step and make this move. You are to deliver a message to him, but the time is not yet. You will know when to do it, but it may be subtle rather than obvious. Trust yourself and know that you are right. I sense and feel the deep apprehension within you that this will be but another cast of the line, which will yield no fish. But you do know, don't you, that the day will come? I want you to know if I am getting... Oh, and then I asked a question. Oh, okay, hold on a second here. I didn't realize that I'd kind of gone into another thing. So this is where I go into some questions about my work situation. I don't think I'll go into that. And it was shortly after this, actually, that I, ended up having the realization that these job interviews and everything weren't going to pan out because it's not what I was meant to do. All right, so there's the end of that one. Again, that was in mid-September, September 15, and just to kind of give you a timeline. So, it was really at that point where I'd already kind of begun to refocus. I don't think, again, there's no judgment on the fact that I kind of took the summer off in a sense and had some fun and focused a lot on just the material things in life in a good way. But at the same time, the losing of the hair, really was, and I'm sure you guys, I would really be curious in comments below if any of you have experienced some, certain symptoms. We call these ascension symptoms, and I've had other ones too, which have just been like, oh, come on, are you kidding me? I will talk about more of that in some of these channelings because there's another aspect to what I received here that is about how our bodies truly are preparing for cellular change, and actually already, some of the cellular change is taking place. And so stuff will come up like, I had a skin issue after the hair loss, which really continued for a total of about 6 months. and which was terrible. You know, so all of these things, you know, there's a lot of different layers to why they're happening. But it ultimately is because we're all being pushed because of the energies that are flowing in and truly changing everything on this earth. It's causing a consciousness shift. Of course, we already know that. That's the first sign. As those of us begin waking up, you know, most of us around the 2009, 10, 11, 12, you know, and forward. And then, you know, then actually physical symptoms are beginning because we're really very close approaching the event. Okay, so that's that one for now, and goodbye. We'll talk to you later.